we could have even done like Hugh Jackman Wolverine, right? But I think when we were doing this episode, we didn't even know if that purchase had been made, and we were too locked in, and now things have been chosen, done, and we're production. Then that deal came through where now we finally got all those live action X-Men right. We're like back, and we're like, ah! Because we could have used any of that, you
I
know.
assume though that even with that deal, because Fantastic Four is not till next summer, that means you guys didn't get to use. Brian, what's up, man? How are you?
What's up, man?
It's good to see you again. Congratulations on reaching the final season of What If. I got to see a couple episodes with you, and one
Yeah.
thing I noticed is that there seems to be a lot in this season, based on the trailer and based on the two episodes I've seen, that is Phase Four stuff and new Multiverse Saga stuff. Because in terms of characters you got to use and stories you got to play with, can you talk about some of the characters that you're just excited to show in season three that you didn't get a chance to play with in seasons one and two?
Well, I mean, Shang-Chi for sure. Because it's like, you know what I mean? It's like we wanted Shang-Chi in season two, but they're all concerned because Shang-Chi the movie wasn't going to be out yet by the time our thing came out, but somehow it still did, and ours came out after. Anyways, it's a hard dance to make sure that our stuff doesn't come right. So we were bummed, but then hooray, we get to use them, in this, and we have more Shang-Chi obviously in zombies, right? So that's great. So yeah, I enjoy plenty of Shang-Chi. So we got plenty of him coming up, which is great.
I've been waiting for his return, and as soon as I saw him in the trailer at D23, I was hyped, man. So
Yeah.
thank you for bringing him back. I'm excited to see Moon Knight. Can you?
Yes.
I know you don't want to give anything away. We're so close to seeing it, but can you talk at all about what it was like to get to work with Oscar and the kind of story you're throwing Moon Knight into, and what if?
That was a lot of fun. I mean, he's great, and the thing is, that's a very ensemble episode because it's all the Stompy robots come together, form the great Avenger, the mighty Avenger. That's in the trailer and stuff like that. So I think that's pretty known. It's not a secret, but because it's an ensemble, we don't get to really. It's not his story per se. There's some other characters that truly take center stage, which is also rad. It's also characters that we want to see. We want to see some more of Sam Wilson as Captain America, so we're getting some of that, which is great. Um, but yes, it would have been totally awesome to have a completely just full on just Moon Knight episode. And hey, if this is really just an elaborate joke, a hiatus, not really forever done, maybe we can do some more of that in the future, because he's just too awesome. So yeah.
You talked about that Mech Avenger. Is that inspired by a Megazord? Like, where did that come from?
Well, it came from the fact that even on season one, we're like, we should have giant stompy robots that heroes are in that fight like, giant monsters and stuff. There's a more specific idea, which this kind of actually has remnants of, but I want to give that away. But that was an idea was kicking around forever. I mean, it's a no-brainer. Like, why don't we have like Marvel robot versions of these people and they're inside piloting like the Shogun warriors of the past, right? Um,
Fun.
so yeah, that's what we wanted to do. And Shogun Warriors was first, and then eventually there was Voltrons and the Power Rangers and all that stuff. But my whole thing was just like, man, it's like Shogun Warriors.
Yeah.
But we get to like borrow from what those came later and like, yes, and let's form a big thing, and it's awesome.
And
So
that you're coming out. That's the first episode, right?
that is the first episode. And there's a tease. There's something really special at the very beginning of that episode, that I think could be its own show, which I would love to do. So you got to keep your eyes peeled. And for the first 30 seconds, you're gonna be laughing your ass off and saying, "I want that right now." I bet you money that you will be saying, "I want this right now." But we'll see. You can
10 more, 20 more days, something like 15, not too many more days till
Yeah.
I'll let you know
You
because
let
I
me know.
believe you.
Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm
Well, I mean,
wrong.
listen, I see what you're doing. You're just using What If to plant seeds for more Marvel work for yourself in the future
Yeah,
because you got zombies coming up right after this, dude. I
that's
mean, I
right.
respect it. I respect the hustle.
I was telling Brad, I'm like, Brad, this thing could be its own show. He's just like, oh yeah, I know.
Hell yeah. Oh, well, maybe we'll make that happen. I'll hopefully
There you
talk to
go.
you again after the episode airs, and we'll talk about that.
Right.
One more thing about the characters you're using. You have to bring Storm in, which is
Yeah.
awesome, and you have Alison Sealy-Smith playing the part. That's awesome. It's clearly seemingly just leaning right into a comic book story where she's wielding the hammer.
Yeah.
It's a big deal to get to use an X-Men though at Marvel Studios. It's not something we've seen a lot of. So
It's
can you talk about how that happened?
I think it was Brad. I mean, Brad was like, we got to do this. And we're like, fuck yeah, we got to do I'm sorry. Yes, we got to do that. You have to bleep me. But yes, and
There's no
exactly
rules here on Phase Hero. You can say whatever you want.
exactly how it came, I'm sure it was probably Brad when we were figuring out certain things that I can't get into, and then it was like, oh, we get to use blah, and that's awesome. And what's funny is because X-Men '97 would have been out already, so that gave us access to her, but technically that gave us access to any of those X-Men if we wanted to. And in hindsight, we're totally kicking ourselves because they're so worried and concerned about making sure things come out when they're supposed to come out. But we easily could have been doing more stuff with X-Men because we were going to come out after them. And so it would have been great to do. Hell, we could have even done like Hugh Jackman Wolverine, right? But I think when we were doing this episode, we didn't even know if that purchase had been made, and we were too locked in. And now things have been chosen, done, and we're production. Then that deal came through where now we finally got all those live action X-Men right. We're like back, and we're like, ah! Because we could have used any of that, you
I
know.
assume though that even with that deal, because Fantastic Four is not till next summer, that means you guys didn't get to use.
Correct.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Correct. Because
Uh,
it has to come out. But so as soon as they acquired the Fox stuff, boom,
yeah,
any of that stuff would have been, any of those characters would have been fair game, and we would have loved that. But it just happened too late for us.
that
But
makes sense.
who knows? Maybe in the future.
I mean, it's crazy. I mean, there's so many. I mean, what if could it's an anthology series? It could come back at any point. We continue watching this and seeing the adventures you send these characters on because they're so much damn fun. And we talk about these characters. I feel like a lot of us sleep on the Watcher because really this is his story in the end.
Yeah.
What can you tell me about where Watsu's going to wrap things up here?
Well, I can't say anything about where he's going to wrap things up, but you are correct that it hinges that he plays a big role in that. We've always done like these mini arcs for him, right? Where everyone else might be having the rest of the series is an anthology, but he's overseeing it all. So he's a constant, right? So that's that thread. And sometimes he grabs people and they help out and sometimes not, etc. So same deal for this. It's just in what form does that take? It's different than what's happened in the past. So but you'll see. But there is that stuff happens, but how it happens, that's the big question. So
How's it feel to like? I know we just talked about how studio like the rule is kind of characters have to be used somewhere else, and then what if
yeah.
can use them? But you've also introduced brand new characters.
Yes, that's a workaround. Hee hee.
Is that going to happen again this year?
Yes, there's a brand new character this
Right?
year,
Yeah.
which is great. And Natasha Lyonne does the voice.
Yeah.
And so I know it's not to be confused with what she's doing and other live action Marvel stuff. That she's cast for other things, I think, right? So this is just hilarious, right? It's like Devery Jacobs being our Cohorty, but then she also played a character in Echo, and it's not the same. But so yes, so we got to do a brand new character in this one, and boom, it's Natasha Lyonne, and hopefully people this is it's not a character that you expect.
That's cool.
She
That's fun.
she does a great job, and I think she fits right in, and it's a lot of fun.
Hell yeah. I see the guitar behind you, man. We talked a little bit about how you
Oh
you
yeah.
had the best needle drop with the Kiss song in the Howard the Duck and Darcy episode. We got to talk about working Kiss into the MCU with their
Yes.
music. That's sick, dude.
Yeah. Yeah. And because I work at Marvel, I have no time to play it. But I'm so out of practice. It's embarrassing. But yeah, there it is.
I live in Nashville and I've never played a guitar, so I get it.
No, I'm a total Kiss fan, nerd, been that way since I was like 6 years old, and Brad knows this and loves this and is we've always been trying to get, we were telling you the other night, it's like when we write down our 30 episode ideas to give to Brad, to give to Kevin to choose for the series. 6 of them this time were Kiss centric, either in a small amount or a major amount, right? Because the Kiss originally they did Marvel comic big issues of themselves back in like 76, 77. And we were like, why can't we do some Kiss? And they were like, no, 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 no. And but then we're like, okay, but there was an episode that came up and you saw it the other night where it was like, okay, we need some music for this. And our writers were like, we know exactly what to choose for this thing. And they're able to, so we did that, and we asked and they said yes, and hooray. Now we got a Kiss song in What If, hooray.
That's sick, man. It works perfectly too. I can't wait for everybody to see it. It's a
I
great
know,
needle
me
drop.
too.
Dude, but next for you is Zombies, which is awesome. I mean, it's an amazing comic series. The episode of What If that was a Zombies episode was fantastic. It's one of my favorites. Those comics, dude, they have some moments that are tough. Like, I mean, Spider-Man, like, like, I don't want to eat you, but I'm gonna, all those horrible things. I mean, I know this isn't a mature show you guys are doing.
Yeah.
Can you talk about some of like the horror elements that show is leaning into when the comics did it pretty harshly in the past?
Yeah, I mean it's funny too because the comics we're doing our own thing, so we're totally not doing the comics. In that first episode in season one, we had a few homages to the comics, like with T'Challa and stuff like this. But for this, it's like we're just like, nope, we leave that in the past, and it has its own life, so it has its own thing. But we still try to go horror, but it's not quite the same. Like our zombies aren't necessarily our zombie heroes aren't necessarily fully talking and dealing with all the things that they're dealing with, and just we're just going a different way with it. But it's still, I think, exhilarating, and it's still TVMA, and it still gets pretty violent at times. And it's funny too because some of the early episodes, there's moments of actual like fun and levity because you got to have a little bit of that because things are going to get insane later on or over here or whatnot. You know what I mean? So I think you're going to get a lot out of it. I can't wait for people to see it. I hope they like it because it seems like everyone around here who sees it are like, wow, I can't believe we're doing this.
I'm already like, man, it's only 4 episodes. I'm gonna want more. I'm gonna
Yeah.
want more right out of the gate. That's exciting. Do you think is that 4 episodes and finished, or do you guys think like that's a multiple season thing?
Well, I think it is its own contained story, but there is, I don't want to give any kind of spoilers whatsoever, but if we wanted to, I think there is an avenue for us to explore something else possibly. So anyways, we'll see how it goes, and if people dig it, we'll see what happens. But there's a wealth of material that we can play with, and if there was another one, I already got ideas. So I was talking
Well,
about it the
you
other
got
day.
my support, man. I'm gonna wrap it up with this. Because it's on Phase Hero, I like to hear about the heroes of the stories. Obviously, What If is all these heroes on their own journeys. But from your experience of bringing this to life, who is one of the heroes of the production of What If that you think maybe deserves a little more spotlight? That's really, somebody who came through and helped you guys get it done. And I mean, you deserve so much credit. Brad, deserves so much credit. But who's somebody you want to shout out as one of the heroes of What If?
All of them, from our writers, right, to our heads of department, our productions, the production staff that supported us. Paul is saying art directing and production designing this thing, Simon Dunstan being like our main camera guy and just helping us make sure that we keep everything locked in. I mean, he's like my partner in crime because I'm shooting for a particular thing and he's got the language speak and he can help sit on the vendors with his team. Like we can make sure we get it stuff. So I mean, everyone and Paul's team underneath him, all of them and our character designers, like, I mean, they're all heroes because like without all of their work, we don't get these episodes, right? I mean, of course, the voice talent, right? But if we don't animate and illustrate this stuff, Scott Wright, our supervising animator, like really sitting on this stuff, trying to make sure we get some good animation, it's a hard schedule. It's hard, the vendors, they got the deck stacked against them and they do the best they can. And with our team trying to support every way we can, it's amazing we pull it off,
I
and
mean,
it's
from what I've seen, it's all, I love the show. I love what I've seen so far. I'm happy for you guys. Do you have an episode you're most excited for everybody to see this season?
yeah, but I also got to give a shout out because we had Stefan Frank helping do with some of the directorial duties because I was doing zombies at the same time. So I'm supervising a bunch and directing a few. But he was able to come in and take the reins and just help me get the stuff across the finish line.
It's a
But
team.
I'm excited about the Western because I've been wanting to do a Western since like season one.
Yes.
And the fact that it is Shang-Chi and there is this awesome kung fu fight at the end in the snow. It's like it turned out really good. And then also the Agatha one, just because swing dancing and Bollywood put together, it's never happened, but it happened here, and I hope people love it. So
Y'all did a musical, man. Good on you. Bryan, well, thank you so much, dude. It's always good to see you. Hope we get to talk
thank you.
again when the episodes are coming out or after they wrap up. And good luck on zombies and everything you're working on over there, dude.
Thanks, man. Be
All
cool.
right. Talk to you soon. Bye.
Thanks.